Vanessa. Vanessa did a great job. No. Honestly, it's Vanessa. What about you?
ISS Canary Wharf Classic 2010.
You're very organised with your grooming, though, aren't you? So.
Serving, James Willstrop receiving. Best of 5 games. Love all.
Yeah. God, yeah. Yeah, incredible. So it was a semi-final this, wasn't it? Just trying to think what were we coming off the back of here? Was it like what would it have been at this time? Like New York would have just been, when it national championships. You'd have trounced me in that at that point when you 3-love drubbing a month before. Yeah.
Let. 1 love. Down. To love. Yes, let.
Oh, ref, that's 3 already.
To love. Down. 3 love. Yes, led. 3 love. Yes, please. And out 1-3. Yes, let. Yes, let. 1-3. Mr. Matthew serving from the right, please. Stroke 2, Matthew. 2-3. Yes, let.
Alright, that hit the dead nick in the back there. Pick up.
Decision on the Mr. Willstrop's ball at the back. Good. Yes, let. 2-3, left. Two, 3 left. Down. And out, 4-2. Stroke 2, Matthew. And out, 3-4.
I've just clicked off there. I'm back now. Is that better? that better? Can you hear me now? That should be off. Can you hear me now? Don't know what's happened. I haven't done anything. So, should I take the headphones out? Try that. What about if I take the headphones off? Is that any good?
Straight to Matthew. 4-all.
So leave the headphones out then.
Down. 5-4. Six-4.
Are we? Yeah. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Hello. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
10-7. Game ball.
Yeah.
Seven. Game to Matthew. Matthew leads 1 game to love.
Shall I stay on? Yeah.
Back.
And out 3-6.
Can you hear me again now then?
Still good?
So sorry about that, a few technical issues. But yeah, I think just managed to kind of get on top towards the back end of that first game. And obviously Mal had a bit of a word because you've come out strong
Malk
in the
had
second.
a good performance. Yeah. Well, I was just going back to thinking. I think when I was watching a little bit when we were cutting out a bit there, I think when you were asking what my sort of plan was, it's coming to me a little bit clearer now. But I think a lot of it was about just trying to get as much variation as I could and not to get worried if that sort of first game happened the way it did, because however well I played, it was really tough to break you down very early in matches because your physicality and you would get so much of it back. So I think what I was always thinking at this point in our careers was just concentrate as much as I can on the variation of every shot. So, you know, change the pace every time, don't stay at the same pace, use the trickle boasts, change the angles. And if I could sort of stick with that and I couldn't get very predictable. As long as I didn't get predictable, and I just was
Sorry about that.
trying. Am I still in or?
Yeah, I was just apologising for smashing you with the racket there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
But I think that was kind of what I was sort of thinking, really, because I watched a couple of rallies there where I was throwing in a few trickle boasts and just trying to change the angles up as much as I can and not make it predictable for you, because it's the last thing I can do is make it. You're just too good when it's not predictable. So I couldn't make it predict. Just couldn't be up and down the wall. I had to change every swing and every, just threaten the drop and then take it back, or threaten deep and take it in, or be constantly looking for those variations. And I think that was a big part of what I was trying to do, I think, against you at this point. Yeah.
Yes, left. 4-6 left.
It was out like at least twice.
No, I don't think so.
He was hugging the line.
No. Yes, left. 4-6 left. Yes, left. 4-6 left. And out 7-4. Out. 8-4.
Yeah. Okay. Where did you hear up to when we were talking before?
Yes, left.
Okay, so is that still the case even now?
Difference of
Okay, cool. Hi everyone, we're back again.
Willstrop from the left. Eight, 4.
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
Back in.
Yeah, I was kind of saying before that I don't know how much you heard, but I kind of felt like this. I mean, matches usually were, the most patient in the first game anyway, because you got two fresh players, you got a brand new bouncy ball. People are maybe finding their basics and feeling each other out first. So I felt like the first game, but that was exaggerated, I think, in Canary Wharf because of the nature of it being packed and how bouncy it was. It was almost like the first game was a little bit like racquetball, bouncing, that the ball bouncing so high on your lengths, and you just had to be so patient, like subtle varieties and variations, like you said. And then maybe it wasn't until kind of this part of the match where you could start to, move the ball around a lot more and start to do what you wanted. And what's interesting here is I seemed a little bit more comfortable with the bouncier ball, and then just with the dead ball, I've kind of got involved maybe in over attacking and kind of set you up at the front a few times, and you've reacted to the slightly deader ball a little bit better than me, I think, in the second game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, see, there's that. Yeah, nice variation, wasn't it, that one? I feel like this was all coming together in this game.
I think that would have been a no-let nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just... I remember your dad actually gave me... It was one of the few compliments he might have given me over the years, actually. But I remember him saying to me, he thought I played my best squash when I was behind in games. I remember him kind of saying that I just free my racket up and play a bit more attacking, and that was maybe an example of that.
Yeah.
He always thought I was a very dangerous player when I was behind in the score because I kind of free up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Squeezy, completely deserved that one. I always noticed with Malk, he's always in your corner before you get there. He's up, isn't he? And he's there.
Straight out, isn't he?
He was out before. Look, he was up. There he is. Look, he's up before I got out the door there. But always interesting there. Obviously Neil Gowrie was a kind of a protege of Malk. He grew up playing at Ponty, so interesting dynamic there in between games, and definitely got their work cut out. I think I was quite... I don't know what you were like, whether you were someone who listened in between games. I was very much someone who would like to jibber jabber and the
talk a lot.
Maybe make sense of what I was then saying and maybe give me one thing to think about. That was how I kind of liked it. I don't know whether Malk was someone who then maybe you listened while he spoke.
Yeah, I always noticed that. It was always interesting to watch players, how they were in between games, and it was like a dialogue, wasn't it, with you and your coach? It would always be a conversation rather than the coach just speaking. And I tended to, I don't know whether I was that great. I think I was a little bit sort of frenetic because it was my sort of outlet in between games. I was obviously quite calm on the court, and it was that was my time to just vent a little bit. And I don't think I always got it right. I think I lost it sometimes. But yeah, I just try and, I don't know, when I get it right, I feel like I just listen and try to take in those thoughts from the coach and just use them how I need to use them, rather than, I don't tend to like to talk too much. Just let whatever they're saying soak into me, and maybe discuss the odd thing, but it's just I think the in-between bit of the game is just trying to get that, just have that breather, isn't it? And just reset a little bit mentally, and just it's so frenetic on there. You're not getting a moment to think, are you? And I think that's how I used it.
We're certainly getting into the brutal stage now. These are the kind of rallies I remember from the match, where you might have seen a rally here and there. I've not actually watched this full match before. I think you said the same, but these are the rallies I might have seen on the highlights kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this one is back and forth. Looked like I was in control. You wrestled it back. Now you're in control. Yeah. Oh, I used to hate that little cross-court drop. It just takes your movement patterns away. That, at least with the straight drop, you kind of ghosted that one a million times. I mean, as if you've ever ghosted that movement.
It's too short, isn't it?
You used to do that. Is that kind of a lot of the skill games you used to do at Ponty? A lot of the kind of creativity, the double.
Great. Yeah.
I'm not sure you'd created the triple fake yet at this point, but there was lots of creativity nonetheless.
Yeah. There's that sort of
at this stage in my career whether I was quite as clear with a game plan as I probably was towards the end. I think I wasn't maybe quite as aware of how to execute my strengths throughout a match. I kind of was I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I think that complete clarity came a little bit later. But I do remember after the second game, obviously it was an 11-4 game. I think if you lose a game 12-10, let's say, generally speaking, you've maybe not done loads wrong. It might just be that the other person's played better than you. I think on that, if you lose one 11-4, then you've got to maybe adapt and change something because clearly the other player was on top. And I remember Neil saying to me that the back of the service box, use that as a bit of a marker. So every time now I'm thinking to myself, my first bounce has got like that was not too bad, it's right at the back, but I've got to get that ball deeper in the court.
Yeah.
And I was really trying to hit through like there. Look, see, I really tried to hit through the length, which you can do with the glass court a bit more. Maybe on a normal court it bounces up a bit more, but every shot on my length, I'm trying to make sure that that ball lands as deep as possible because you're just controlling the middle.
Yeah, and you're really responding quite well here, actually. The last couple of points, you've dragged me around, and I've started hitting a few loose whips, which is the last thing you can do against you.
Well, this is a game that gets brutal in a minute. So, it's a really important, at 1-1, it goes without saying how important the third game is. But going back to what I was saying about, to me, a lot in my career, really, the length kind of set things up. Everyone spoke about my volley, but I think you only get that volley and opportunity if your length is good to set up that kind of 1-2 kind of punch. And the challenge, I think, is when you try to get the length a little bit deeper, you naturally go a little bit higher on the front wall, and then it actually becomes a bit more volleyable. So what I was trying to do was get the ball deep, but keep it still under your volley, and that's obviously under pressure. That's kind of a tough skill. So you can see there, I'm trying to hit maybe around the service line, so it's not, even if you do volley, it's kind of dipping on you a little bit, and I was trying to avoid that kind of shoulder height volley.
No, too good. And out 8-6.
The decisions have changed massively, haven't they?
So much.
There's 2 or 3 decisions here, which we just know. I mean, it's ridiculous, compared to today.
The first game, wasn't there, that would have been a stroke, and they just used to give a lot more lets.
I mean, it's not slagging anyone off. That's just kind of the way it was, wasn't it? Back then, you would just get lets for things, and
there was lots more lets. I think 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not getting. I just can't get I can't get the middle here at all. You've just taken it away. I think it's. I'm either not getting it up and above you and around you, or you're just cutting everything off here. The width isn't good, is it?
Well, what's interesting though, you've still got the scoreline in your favour. So I think I'd probably be telling myself here that, okay, look, you need to stick at it for the tide to turn and maybe get an error here or there. That was maybe one way you just forced it. It was a chance. But maybe because my quality has been better to the back, maybe those chances have not come as regularly to you. So possibly then when you did get one, there's more of a higher chance of an error. Who knows? But, I think if I was coaching someone in this situation, I'd try and say, look, take the score out of it as much as you can. You're human. Of course, you know what the score is, but try to stick at what you're doing. It might not always come good on the scoreline within 2 or 3 minutes. It might take 10 minutes of kind of sustained pressure kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this is when the match started to get into those realms of. It was almost like the first 2 games of feeling each other out in many ways. As I said, the first game very bouncy, typical Canary Wharf. Second game went a bit deader, you took control, and then now it's just got into a complete best of 3 battle where the pace is as high as it would be in the best of 3 that you see at Canary Wharf nowadays.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting I'm getting a little bit hitty with you, I think, here, though. It needed more.
Yeah, it's got to be more pace.
See, that's the first chance I've had, really, for.
I think when it gets hitty, it maybe turns in, it might take 10, 15, 20 minutes, but possibly the tide turns in being able to get you then feeling the physicality that I was obviously trying to put into the match when you're controlling the pace. That was class. When you're controlling the pace like that, it's almost like you had so much time on that shot. It felt like when you played that shot, you just gave yourself a deep breath before you played it, and the clarity was so good. Look at this, look how long you took there. It felt like an eternity. there's an art to that. When the game is so fast, to look like you've got so much time. Someone like a Jan Shakan was like that. They just look like they had so much time when everything around them is happening so quickly.
Yeah. Lob's important here at this point, I think. Should be a few lobs coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, lad.
So I think that'd be a no-let today. I don't think you did anything wrong there. Interesting now. I remember playing that straight backhand lob. That's the one I said on the left foot, where I was getting a bit. Look at that; those deep lunges into that corner. You played. Look at that. Your backhand drop was definitely firing that day.
Oh, but then I go and mess it up with the width. Then that's where you've got to really. You can't then give you a bad width, can I? After doing all that good work with the drops. Most players just wouldn't. I'd still be on top, but if I then leave a bad width after doing so much good work, that's a problem.
Not sure what I'm feeling for there.
Was the ball good or not? No. The ball was good.
No, I know it was good. No.
But you'd also lose a point if you open the door nowadays.
I stood on my foot, so I couldn't jog forward. It was like I would have got it.
No, lad.
I'm not sure I would have got that at all.
Because we don't think you would have gone.
I don't really think I was in the way, was I?
No. I'm saying you stood on. It's quite believable that you would have stood on my foot. I think because you've got quite large feet, but on that occasion, I don't think you actually did.
It's good though. It's always nice to see you having a chat in the third game, because that was when I knew I was making a few inroads.
Well,
a little bit, which is nice to know.
I think maybe later I got better at that, because I realised that my strength was as I said, I used a bit more clarity around your game plan. It's all right having clarity when you walk on the court, but can you still have that same clarity under pressure? And I think later on I realised more, why am I talking? I'm giving the other person a rest, and I want the rally to go on.
Yeah.
So why am I stopping and giving the person? I gave him maybe 45 seconds extra rest there. And it was maybe only later on, when I got to my mid-30s, when I was deliberately having a rest, I might have asked the referee, what's the score again? 5 times, or tie your shoelace or something like that. But at this point, when you're kind of at the peak of your physicality, you don't need to have a conversation. I wanted the game probably to be continuous.
Yeah. Good shot.
9-10, game ball.
I didn't realise. I always thought this game was 1 point nip and tuck here and there. I didn't realise that you had a 10-7 lead.
Yeah, so what, 7-4, 10-7, yeah.
Yeah, as your dad said though, I definitely took a couple in. I was quite brave when I was down there.
There's definitely an intensity around the middle, which is definitely unsettling me in this second half. I just can't find that sort of rhythm.
You kept the lead though, and I think that was a part of your game which. That's never a let.
Game ball.
We as you said, we spoke about that on the national coaching thing, and I was always so worried about the backhand drop that you can see. I'm worried about the drops, and I've come around that side rather than hanging on your back. And I always thought, if you catch me with a length where you held it like that 2 or 3 times a match, I can deal with that, because I thought that you beat me on the drop more like 9 or 10. The drop was the bigger danger. But when you did hold and snap it through on that one, I was in. Your backhand drop was so good that you could have your opponent in no man's land, really.
Yeah. It was constantly finding that balance with you, whether to push it back, go in. It was a massive feature of our games, because we did play a lot down the backhand, and it was just who could sort of win that backhand thing. But I know people talk about it as my strength, and they often talk about that as your strength. That forehand. But you were unbelievably dominant at times on the backhand mid-court area. It was very, very tough to chip it past you, or you know, that
Yeah,
was a strength that people didn't sort of talk about much, I don't think, with you.
Yeah, I think that, well, you know, I was about to say there. I think, I mean, look at your retrieving there. I think, and here, you know, you said you're not feeling really comfortable in this game, but you were always ahead in the score. I mean, look at that rally, 14-13 down, and I think everyone always talks about your skill. You know, Mr. Marksman and everything like that. And I always said to people, very, very close second is your kind of stubbornness and determination, because you know you're prepared to do those hard yards and realize, look, you're not going to be in control for the whole match. It's simply not realistic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that, you know, some of the balls you used to dig back with, and it wasn't just you obviously had a great reach, but it wasn't just your reach. It was that ability to put yourself through ridiculous physical torture, really, and still come back for more. And I think that's been something that, because you are so good with your racket, that people maybe don't quite recognise.
Yeah. That's nice to hear. Yeah. Right.
Well, the two things can go hand in hand. Otherwise, you're only going to win. Essentially, you're only going to win when it's a good day for your racket, and that's not always the case. You know, I've seen you win so many matches where, you know, your racket skills been marginally off for the level that you're talking about, and you found a way.
Yeah.
You know, I think the youngsters. You know, as you know, I've coached. I've not got a great coaching record against you so far. I think I've coached about 3 people against you, and they're yet to make any sort of inroads whatsoever. I did well to get that one. I think you had me. You should have played that little backhand drop again.
Yeah.
What, drop again? I was right on my heels. Easy from here.
Yeah, it was loose, but it had gone behind. Yeah, I don't know.
Gone behind me a bit.
Behind you, hadn't it?
But yeah, I think when I've coached the youngsters against you, they often think they want to, you know, because obviously, you know, you're a tall guy. They want you to try and move you around, and they get over tempted to play too many boasts and too many low cross and too many take it in, and you've just got that ability to kind of get the ball back first of all, and then counter them, and then they're the ones doing the work, and then they get frustrated then and make a couple of errors, and before you know it, you're in complete control. And I think, you know, that ability of you to turn kind of those defensive positions into attacking ones with your touch and reach and everything that was probably the most frustrating thing when I played you. So in the end, I thought, well, I'm going to keep him at the back as much as I can. It's safer there.
Yeah. So you wouldn't be quite as tempted. Yeah.
So we both had a few game balls in this one.
Yeah. Is that a straight lob?
Seems like whoever gets the game ball, whoever's game ball down lets the racket go and is like that, really severe on the drops. And then whoever gets game ball just thinks about it a little bit, gets a little bit edgy, and we're both definitely playing our best squash when we're game ball down.
Yeah. Backhand again.
Is that cross-court drop? Hated that one.
Just trying to inject a bit of pace there.
When you whacked it, whenever you whacked it against me, I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah. But I had to just, you know, I had to throw in the odd hit like there, just to, you know, because I couldn't keep, you know, I had to keep trying to change that pace up all the time.
I mean, this game's probably been going on for 25 minutes at this point, so it's definitely, I think, probably the proudest thing after this match, without giving the game away. I think coming back from the loss of this game to then bounce back psychologically at this point, it's kind of who wins this game wins the match. It feels like watching it.
Yeah, this is a great rally. This is very good quality rally.
Yes, let's.
Again, I think
I hardly put a foot wrong in that rally. You just kept getting it back.
I need to send Dean a Christmas card. So I think I'm getting the right end of these decisions.
16 all.
Lots of variation in that.
How did you find the crowd at Canary Wharf? Like, because I remember the atmosphere was amazing, was it? I remember playing you once there, and you were asking them to keep it down a little bit.
No, yeah, you had a go at me one year, didn't you, for that? And I don't know whether that was. I felt, I wasn't. I don't think I meant to be. I mean, I love it just as much as we all love a good atmosphere, don't we? And I didn't mean to be. I love people shouting. So, and I remember you saying something which sort of, made me as if it wasn't like, if I didn't want anyone to. I can't remember what it was now. Was it someone up? I mean, they were sort of getting a bit. Were they getting a bit heavy up the top there or something?
Yeah, I think it was a Thursday night or Friday night, and yeah, probably up there, and I was like, yeah, make more noise. I love it.
Yeah. No, I don't know what happened. I can't remember what happened now, but I'm all for that. Totally, loved it.
I think someone opened a packet of crisps maybe, and just on the top of your backswing.
Maybe I was in a bad mood that night. I don't know, but it's not as a rule. I would very much welcome any noise in a squash arena.
Well, yeah, I mean, Pontry's is one of the best clubs in the country as well, so you're used to that.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the time, around this part of my career, Mick was around when he just bellowing, so I was hardly averse to it, I don't think.
That was your worst backhand drop the whole match. You kind of caught a little divot on your backswing there.
Yeah.
You caught the floor. Yeah. Like I said, game balls like a curse.
I can't remember where it ends.
I mean, that's just nowadays. That's just a no let. It's just a soft let that.
Yeah.
I do think when you see this, it's clear that the refereeing has come on. They get a lot of stick, 36 minutes, but they get a lot of stick. And I think it's good that they keep the game moving now.
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant. The improvements in the reffing have been absolutely brilliant for the game.
Maybe only when you compare it directly.
Yeah.
That you've got. Oh, look at that lead.
One of yours, that one.
Well, it's interesting that both of us had kind of, within this tie break, suddenly thought, well, I want to get out of the clutches of this backhand side and gone for the width. And if that width is not there, you're going for the massive strength area. I remember thinking that's what threw me in that World Final in Saudi when you cross-courted everything in the first game. And I was like thinking, that's my best shot. It kind of threw me.
Yeah.
That you did that. I got you the Lee Beatle there. I learned that shot off Beach. I think Beach was the first person I saw do that one down the middle, like here, just smack it down the middle, and I kind of turned it into a little bit of a trademark shot of my own. Always kind of kept it in the bag maybe until when you needed it. It's one of those shots that you didn't want to overplay. I'm sure you have a similar one. Maybe it's the trickle at the front where you kind of don't play it. 9 times out of 10, you'll maybe play the drop, and then you kind of save it just for when you maybe go in that variation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be played. It's like the boast, isn't it? It's like, I can't against you or Paul Cork. I'm never going to play a boast at 1-1 in the first. But if you can save it and save it and save it until it's, I don't know, 2-1 and 2-2, then you can throw one in, can't you? And it's all about when you play that sort of a shot, that variation, isn't it?
Ooh, that was there. The chance was there. So 2018. I mean, psychologically at this point, that's big.
2018 game to Willstrop. Willstrop leads 2-1.
I definitely remember this was probably one of the few times where I maybe didn't have enough energy to actually talk at Neil. I remember it was all kind of psychological at this point, and he was kind of saying to me, because you can lose that. How many times do you see a game like that in the third, and then the fourth is an 11-3 to the person who wins the third because the momentum's all with them. So it was just a case of, going back to basics, being tough, being stubborn, didn't do a lot wrong, stick at it, and stay mentally positive. There's still a good chunk to go in this match, really. That was kind of the message, I think.
Yeah.
Nothing, well, both of us, we share that, James. We're nothing if not stubborn.
Yeah.
Oh, there was that trickle. That's probably the first time I played that one.
Yeah. Yeah, you played that shot well.
Straight to Matthew.
Generally, I think it was a good shot of yours, that.
8-6.
I remember it won us a bit of cash down at St George's Hill, that one. Do you remember that match where we did the Danny Lee test match before the World Champs a couple of years ago? I don't know if you remember that. We had
Oh,
that
shebaggy match you had.
yeah, the rest of the
Yeah.
world thing, and I was panicking because we were ahead on, it was overall points, wasn't it? And we were ahead, and then he was pulling it back. And then it was down to the last point, I think. I needed to win that game. He needed one more point for them to win the match. And I don't think I played that trickle, and I played it at match point, and I won us all about a 500 quid bonus, I think.
It was a great atmosphere that night. It was an amazing match.
That's a Danny messed up the scores. No one knew who won.
Did he? I can't remember now.
I remember when we did the introduction, he was saying, "Oh, it's a draw." We were going, "No, we've won."
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I just remember the end of your match being like a flipping... It was literally like the world teams, wasn't it?
It was. It was
Great,
good. I remember Daryl being very clear about the fact that we'd won. Daryl had done his calculations. He's got his business management degree, hasn't he? And he'd done his calculations there that we were definitely in.
It's that width. That width again is not good.
Down.
Yep.
And out. 9-7.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out. 8-9.
Yeah. Can't. Yeah, and you can't exploit that movement. Yeah. Yeah.
And out. 10-8. Game ball.
You got me. I'm back.
Not up. (11-8). Game 2, Matthew. 2 games all.
I'm not here. I'm not here. All then now. 2-2 then now.
Yes, let. Mr. Willstrop has incurred a contributed injury. He has up to an hour to recover.
Hear me again. Yeah, can you hear me again, guys? Yeah. I kind of caught James there, didn't I? I think he played the drop, and I accidentally caught him with the kind of looked like it was a knee in the back of the calf there.
Yeah. Back in. Yeah. I'm back in. James, yeah.
3-4.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah, got me okay. Yeah, I think I was I don't know what, I can't even remember that one actually, but
Can you hear me,
like
guys?
a little injury, little timeout, wasn't it? Little breather.
Yes, let 3-4.
Everyone on?
I've not got any sound now at all.
I can hear Nick still. I can, yeah, I don't think, I don't know whether Nick can hear me. I can hear him, I think.
Can you hear me, guys? Oh, stop. You look a little bit like, I just accidentally caught you earlier there. It just looks like you had a couple of winces,
5-3.
movement-wise there. I hope I didn't kind of accelerate. It was a different part of the body, at least, wasn't it, that you cramped in than where I caught you, so it didn't contribute. Mm. So what do you think about here if you've got a 2-point lead? Because this has kind of happened a few times for both of us. This is almost in the danger time in the match, doesn't it? When we've had that 2-point lead, this is when the other person's kind of come back at us.
Down. And out. 4-5.
It just seems like we both play that little bit more aggressively, that little bit more assertively when we're down. And then when we're up, maybe we go in that little bit cagier. It's all marginal, isn't it? But none of us have, maybe that second game aside, neither of us throughout the whole match have got that kind of 3-4 point cushion, which is always a little bit more relaxing than say a 2. 2's always a tough one because it can just be kind of whittled away in very quickly. I'm definitely kind of getting in front here. PJ, love this. 2-5 all. Yeah, it's definitely getting brutal at this point. I don't remember in the heat of the moment being exhausted. What I remember about this match was the recovery after it. I never felt as tired. At Canary Wharf, there's numbers, and we went down there for dinner tonight and I'm getting a lot of feedback now, guys.
Yes, let.
Yeah. Am I back
Yes,
in?
let 5-all. Left, please.
Still going? Yeah, still talking, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that recovery, I mean, that was amazing how you did that. I think I've written about that a few times as I've talked about it. How you sort of turned up the next day and still won.
Yeah,
I don't know.
remember
I don't know. I don't know
not
how I'd have even
sure.
stepped on court, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember straight after the match, you know, he gave the complex underneath, going to Wagamama was trying to eat and just couldn't stomach anything. Basically, it was kind of forcing it down. It was awful.
Yeah.
Managed to somehow kind of pass out. Wasn't really sleep. And then I remember Sylvan was down there, and the next day I had this practice with Neil. Neil fed me. There's that whip. Neil fed me, and I just stood still. I couldn't move. I felt like I had blades of glass on the bottom of my feet. The next day, I just could not walk hardly, and he just fed me just to hit a few balls, just to kind of warm body up. And then I was in Sylvan in the physio for about 2 hours. I remember sent Neil downstairs. He brought us lunch, brought us a little smoothie, which was our kind of pre-match routine and morning routine, and just lied there and Sylvan basically little by little he just loosened my feet, my calves, and by the end I walked out of there pretty all right. So, you know, I went then. I don't know about you, but I was always a big pre-match napper. I used to like a good nap in the afternoon. So I had a good sleep in that afternoon, which kind of helped me then recover. And then kind of came again that night against Greg.
Amazing.
But Sylvan definitely deserves a lot of credit there. He tirelessly worked on my. No one wants to touch smelly feet, but he worked on him for about 2 hours. Bless him.
Yeah, he's great with Sylvan.
Yeah, I did learn a lot of things. I think I remember Malk saying this as well when I was younger, that everyone talks about backing up a match to the next day. And that's obviously how you get to the top of the rankings, because, you know, there's a lot of players who get these one-off wins and then the next day they're just not at the races, you know, and that's probably the same for all of us when we're first coming up. And you learn over the years how to back it up. And I don't think it's to do physically, because I think that in training you're used to backing up hard days one after another. You know, you train twice a day, hard sessions, and you're used to it. You know, I remember Malk saying how it was 90% mental the next day. Maybe it was when you won Qatar the first time in 2005 that it was, you know, you backed up mentally each day. You know, the physical side's almost the easy bit, really. Can you get your head in that frame of mind again to go through that marathon all over again? And to me, that was never truer than after this in the final the next day.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a valid point, but you know, there have been times where there's just no way the head is ever going to take me. I can recover all I want, and just, you know, it's just physically just too much of a mountain to climb. But I guess mentally it comes into it a lot, doesn't it? You know, you mentally just got yourself ready, and I don't know, it's still an amazing feat to be able to do that. When you think that marathon runners, you know, run a marathon, they have 6 weeks off, which you quite rightly, you know, 2.5 hours or whatever, I'm in that sort of territory, and then you manage to come and play a big match the next day. So I mean, this is just getting brutal. It's getting very painful now.
9-7.
I think we're still on. Are we still on? Yeah. So I think we're coming to sort of, must be soon now, the rally, I guess, where the cramp hits. Definitely been feeling a couple of shaky things going on in the muscles, and you're aware that the body is starting to break, I think, at this point. But you're so close and the adrenaline's running, and you know, you're just trying to concentrate on hitting the ball, and you're very, very close to the finish line, so you may as well not give up here. You know, just hang in, and however much the body's falling apart, which you're starting to do, just get on with it and just aim for the finish line if we can. There have been lots of times in my career where I've felt a little bit of a sort of crampy feeling, but it's never turned into that horrendous cramp that, if anyone's had it, you know, where you get it the sort of 30 seconds of like that intense pain. But I've had it sort of where it's on the edge, and sometimes in squash matches you can sort of stop it from happening if you don't make the movements. But obviously Nick was just pushing me into such horrible movements at this point that he sort of brought it on by the quality of his play. I think it's got to be fairly soon. I think maybe this rally. Some quality, tight play down the walls.
8-9.
Nick's dad, Headley. He's watched us play a few times over the years. Just trying to control. At this point, I'm just trying not to move as much as I can, and I can't hit shots like that. Yeah, so then it's the top of the left leg has just caved in, I think, by the looks of that. I think Nick thought I'd broken my leg, but it was not quite as sinister as that. But obviously that sort of cramp just means that it's not really going to continue. Nothing's going to continue. It's just too far gone.
How does it feel watching that back, James?
What, the cramp or the whole match?
Just watching yourself in so much pain.
Pain, yeah. I mean, I knew what it was. I knew it wasn't anything. I knew the pain wasn't anything sinister. I felt that before. Cramp is just a horrible side effect of a hard game of squash, and I knew the sensation, but it's just for that 30 seconds. It is the most intense thing, isn't it? It's a horrible feeling, and you just have to get through that. And once you get through it, you try to stand up, and you know that the muscle or muscles that have been affected there's just no way back for them. They can't bend. They've just been absolutely stretched to their max. You've exhausted their potential. So I think I kind of knew as soon as it happened that was it. There was no way I was going to be able to play rallies against someone like Nick, and try and recover. You just can't. I was trying to get some fluids in to try and offset it. But the other thing was that I had to get on with it as well, either because it's cramp, it's not an injury. I had to get on with it and decide. But there was just no way it was going to happen. But I feel all right about it. I mean, it was a wonderful match. It's a great memory. It's one of the probably the best match Nick and I have played, and it was, I think, one of those that was played in between us. There wasn't too much that went on inside the court, which for me I think is a good thing, and we got on with it, played the game, and I can always look back on that match with a lot of pride, and I don't look back on it and think I don't want to watch that back again. It was a great match, and I was very pleased to play in it, and to lose it was I wanted to win, but that's the way it goes, and I was very proud to be a part of it. And I just remember coming off 10 minutes after, just being really happy about it, because I knew what we'd done was very special. So the loss didn't really mean much at the time. I was just really happy to be part of that. So I think it's probably becoming quite clear at this point I remember Malcolm was telling me that's it, finished, and I'm just going, no, let me try, let me at least stand up. And he's just saying, no, this is ridiculous. You're not going to be able to do it. And then as soon as I stood up, there's just no way the leg's going to move. So that's it, really. And I think we both know at that point how good that has been, and that was a quality game of squash.
And with, I guess, you know that it's not going to be a long-term thing. Is that more
exactly.
reassuring for you, or is it more frustrating? That
I knew it wasn't. There was nothing long-term about it. I just knew. I knew what cramp was. I knew it was just extreme fatigue, and so yeah, very very pleased and happy, and sad that I couldn't carry the match through, but that's the way it was, and we just pulverized each other into oblivion, and him just a bit more than me. Yeah, it was fine. There was no problem. I just knew the body just needed time to recover. It wasn't anything sinister.
And how was it watching back through this with Nick? Well, obviously you've had such battles, and tensions might have got a bit frayed on court, but now that you're past this, is that a really different emotion watching it back with him?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've enjoyed watching that with Nick. I mean, I think obviously we've had our difficulties and issues in the past because we're different people and everything, but we've had to work together a lot, so it's not new for us, in terms of we've always had to work properly together and look at the game, and it's important that we've done that, and we've been on coaching courses, and he's now coaching with England squash, so that's all good. We're sensible people, and I can always learn a lot from Nick, and I always will do. I'll never stop. I'm always very open to listen to what he's saying, and he's a great player for this country, and the world of squash. So just because things didn't always go brilliantly on court for us doesn't mean that today can't be a great experience to enjoy. And I think we both I enjoyed doing that, and it's great talking through that with Nick. And I think when it's such a pleasant, enjoyable, fantastic match, it's a good sense of pride, isn't it? So I very much enjoyed it. I hope it was good to get his thoughts on it and his context, because you obviously don't get that at the time. So I really enjoyed it.
Cool. Well, unfortunately, Nick doesn't look like he's going to be able to come back. So I'm sorry for everyone watching for the slight technical hiccups. But thank you very much for joining us, James. It was really, really good, the bits that people could hear.
And it was all right. No, it was enjoyable to do, and thanks for asking us, and thanks to the people that were watching.
Wonderful. Well, we'll work on things in the back end, and we might invite you back again for a more full one in the future.
Always, yeah. Would love
Wonderful.
to.
Thanks.
Love to.
Thanks, James.
All right. Cheers, folks.